Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate ringsignnews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. Let's get started with the first one today from CM Punk 303. Could you see Vince Russo coming back to the WWE as a manager? I always thought he was entertaining on the mic. I've gotten a bunch of questions regarding Vince Russo possibly coming back to WWE. Most of the questions regarding him coming back in a creative role. I think that it's very unlikely he would be brought back to WWE just to be an on-screen personality. And I'm not sure that that's something he would ever be interested in doing. I think that if he was ever going to come back to WWE, he would want to be in charge of creative and he would want to be writing the shows. Now, will that happen? I've gotten a lot of questions about that. Vince Russo possibly coming back to WWE. With WWE in a creative slump right now, is Vince Russo the answer to WWE's creative issues? Here's the thing about WWE, and this is a major reason why Vince Russo has not been involved with WWE. WWE has a team of writers, and Russo's made it clear himself that he does not want to come back and be part of a committee. His idea is that there are too many cooks in the kitchen and it's better for one or two people to be writing the shows. And it doesn't look like anything is going to change in WWE for the time being when it comes to the writing staff and WWE cutting back on writers and relying on one or two people. So until that day comes that WWE decides, all right, we're going to have one or two people at the most write the shows. Until that day comes, I think the chances of Vince Russo coming back are slim to none. But in my personal opinion, should Vince Russo come back to WWE? I don't see how it could really hurt WWE. It's not like WCW where Vince Russo would come in and he would be able to control everything and things would get out of line in WWE. I would not see that happening. I think that with a filter, with Vince McMahon, with Triple H, with Stephanie, overlooking everything, Vince Russo in WWE could be a positive. It could definitely benefit the WWE product to have some different ideas out there. And one thing about Vince Russo is his shows are never boring. When I was watching back on the WCW pay-per-views from 2000, as counterproductive as his writing was to business, I was still entertained by the shows. I was never bored with Vince Russo WCW shows and WWF shows for that matter. The problem is all the insider references, all the constant swerves. If you have a filter and you get rid of some of that stuff, you cut back on the swerves and you don't rely on all the inside references and you just do it every once in a while. Like with CM Punk's pipe bomb, when he did that, when he broke the fourth wall, that was really cool because it's something that's never done. If CM Punk came out and did a pipe bomb every single week on TV, it wouldn't have had any value. So that's why the pipe bomb was such a success. And I think that with Russo coming in, if you cut back on some of the stuff that didn't work in WCW, I think Vince Russo could do well in WWE. And I was surprised because on NoDQ.com I put up a poll about Vince Russo coming back to WWE. Would you like to see Russo back? And a lot of people voted yes. A majority, in fact, about 60% voted yes to have Vince Russo come back to WWE. So, you know, I would not mind seeing him back in WWE, but I think the odds of it happening are slim. All right, this one comes from Rated RKO. Hey Aaron, long-time watcher, first-time asker. Who on the current WWE roster do you see winning the WWE title in the future? Also, do you see any legends or past WWE superstars getting a run with the belt? Please answer in video. Regarding people on the current WWE roster, as far as the near future goes, Roman Reigns, I think, is your top choice to win the WWE title, probably at WrestleMania, but nothing is set in stone at this point. Dean Ambrose is another guy that I think will be WWE champion sooner than later. Seth Rollins. I mean, all three members of the Shield, in my opinion, one day will be WWE champion. As far as legends of the past, the only person I could really see maybe winning the WWE title, and this is a big maybe because who knows if he's coming in for more than just one match, that person is Sting. If Sting comes back, has a match at WrestleMania, and it goes over really well, and him and WWE keep a relationship going, and Sting decides to continue wrestling and maybe have a final full-fledged run in WWE, I could see him possibly getting the belt for a feel-good moment. But besides Sting, I don't see people like Hulk Hogan winning the WWE title again. Maybe Batista one more time if you want to classify him as a legend. But, I think WWE will not have any past stars as champion again. They did it with Hulk Hogan in 2002, but I don't really see that kind of situation playing out again where they put the title on somebody who is not a regular in WWE who was a star way back in the past. All right, this one comes from That Was My Fault. Hey Aaron, do you think a heel should live his heel status in real life? Like being an asshole on interviews, refuse to give autographs and take photos with fans, or should it all belong into a wrestling ring? Your thoughts? Are you saying he should be like CM Punk? No, kidding there, CM Punk. Although I'm sure he's not watching this. He blocked NoDQ.com on Twitter. But apparently he's blocked a lot of people. But regarding your question here, at this stage of the game, I don't really feel it matters all that much with Twitter and social media. It's really hard to maintain that heel persona in private. It was much easier before you had the internet, before you had all the digital cameras and the phones and people being able to snap pictures of you. I mean, it would be extremely difficult to go about your normal life without somebody recognizing you. And, I don't really feel it's necessary. When the cameras are not on, the WWE cameras, these guys should be entitled to live their normal lives and not have to play the character 24/7. All right, this question comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. Do you think Smackdown moving back to Thursdays will breathe new life into the show, or will it just be one big episode and back to being WWE's forgotten middle child while NXT gets spoiled with presents and Raw is the golden boy? I think it'll depend on the ratings. I'm assuming that the ratings will go up a little bit on Thursday nights. I think that Thursday is a better night for SmackDown to be airing. So I do see a slight increase in the ratings, and I'm sure the first week they are going to go all out. WWE will put together a huge edition of SmackDown to establish it on Thursday nights. Where it goes from that remains to be seen. I still think that no matter what the ratings are, SmackDown is always going to be the secondary show. Raw is the live show. Raw's 3 hours. That is your focal point. SmackDown is still important. And, despite what you say about NXT, SmackDown is still more important to WWE than the NXT show itself. Not necessarily the concept of, establishing your younger talent, but, SmackDown is on national television. WWE is making money from SmackDown. It's still, a top priority for WWE. Not at the level of Raw, but SmackDown is still very important to WWE's bottom line. All right, this one comes from MVTVR20. Hey, Aaron, I got a question for you. Do you see Scott Hall coming back to WWE for one more match or run? If so, who should he get in the ring with? Please answer in video. Thanks, Marshall from Iowa. I think it's unlikely that Scott Hall gets back in a WWE ring again. First of all, I think that he would need to be able to pass the WWE physical, and I'm not sure if that's something he can do at this stage of the game. I just think the odds are against it happening. I mean, we didn't even see Jake Roberts come back and even participate in the Royal Rumble, let alone have a full-fledged match. So I think the same deal applies with Scott Hall. If he doesn't even come back for a Royal Rumble appearance where he's in the ring for 10 seconds, I mean, that should tell you right there that he's not in the shape to be getting back in the ring, even if it's for a short period of time, and WWE isn't going to want to bring him back in that capacity. Will he make another appearance in WWE? I think it'll happen at some point, but I don't see him getting back in the ring in WWE again. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. Never say never, I guess. All right, got this question here. If the Authority loses their power, can you see WWE pairing Rollins with Heyman? I would not advise doing that. I think that with Paul Heyman, he works best with Brock Lesnar, and let's face it, things did not work out with Curtis Axel as a Paul Heyman guy. Things did not work out with Cesaro as a Paul Heyman guy. I don't want to see a third strike with Seth Rollins. I don't think it's necessary. I think that Seth Rollins is doing just fine on his own as a heel, and yes, he does have the authority to back him up, but I think that without any kind of manager or faction, Seth Rollins can do perfectly fine on his own. I don't think it's necessary for him to be aligned with Paul Heyman or anybody else at this point. All right, last question here from Ice Blade Ari. Hey Aaron, loving the show. With Survivor Series around the corner, what was the match you remember the most from this event? Please answer on video. Well, I think I've talked about this match before. I've been asked about Survivor Series in the past, but I'll mention it again here. Growing up, my favorite Survivor Series match was the Ultimate Match of Survival at the 1990 Survivor Series with Hogan and the Warrior and Tito Santana going up against Rick Martel's group and Ted DiBiase. To me, that was my most fond Survivor Series memory. And, growing up, I also enjoyed the wild card match at the 1995 Survivor Series, and kind of disappointed they never brought that match back. I just thought it was interesting where the heels and the faces had to coexist on the same team. And of course, the 2002 Elimination Chamber was one of my favorite Survivor Series matches. And it just, I'm disappointed that Survivor Series has really become a throwaway pay-per-view in WWE. It used to mean so much more. And I'm hopeful at some point they will make it memorable again. And, this year they got the big stipulation, so we'll see what happens with this year's Survivor Series. But, in the last several years, it's been one mediocre Survivor Series after another. So I'm hoping they can turn things around with that show. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A Video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, almost at 45,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for checking out the videos and spreading the word about No DQ&A Video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news and rumors regarding Survivor Series, and I will see you guys next time.